Hey guys, welcome to Rishi's Manchester United Warehouse. We're here to cover the United versus Spurs game. First of all, a big gratitude to everybody who watched our third shirt video. There were 177 of you, and I do not expect us to reach 100 views so early in our only fourth or fifth video, and that brings my heart. That fills my heart with a lot of confidence going forward. Um, Despite the production value, my goal is to create quality content for every United fan out there, and I hope every video resonates with you guys. And yeah, so let's dive in. United versus Spurs. Historically, our bitter rivals. Not really our bitter rivals, but if you look at our history, it has not been the cheesiest. Uh, United versus Spurs has been a very comical encounter. First of all, Fergie's comments against Spurs, it is Spurs, and then us getting whooped 6-1 by Jose Mourinho's Spurs, and Jose being beaten by Poch's Spurs. And back then Spurs were damn good, and we're lucky that we're not facing one of those Spurs teams. We're facing Ange Postecoglou's Spurs, and we can expect an attacking team from his part. So Spurs have traditionally played very reactive football over the years with Conte and Mourinho. Very result oriented, but we expect a different Spurs. We expect the Spurs from yesteryears, actually. The days of Soldado, Lennon, um, Sessegnon, actually not Sessegnon, Sissoko, and Eric Lamela, Christian Eriksen, Musa Dembele. This was a strong Spurs side, which created havoc against a lot of teams' defenses, United included. So yeah, let's dive in. Let's uh, dive into the starting 11 and what our shape will look like and what the players' roles will be. Okay. Uh, so yeah, here we go. First of all, let me just pull up my yeah player chart. So here we go. Rashford, obvious forward man, will operate from the left channel. We saw him being more comfortable in that position in the Wolves game. One player that really disappointed against um, Wolves is Garnacho. In my opinion, he was not very physical. He was getting bullied by the Wolves defenders. And what I want is for Sancho to play because as soon as he came on, we looked like a different squad against Wolves. We were attacking better. Our passes were cleaner from that flank. And yeah, I think if Rashford goes to the left and Sancho comes to this area, he can play the role of a number nine, not the best number nine in the world, but he can at least fill that role. So one analysis that I did wrong was to state the fact that Mount would essentially operate as a number 10, uh, Rooney-esque position. But no, I think Ten Hag has asked Mount to fill in that deeper role in midfield from the get-go. I thought that Ten Hag would give him initially the freedom and the want to roam about behind Rashford and try to support him in our attacks. But Bruno clearly wants to operate in that position more, and he has earned his stripes by doing that. So Bruno operating as that attacking midfielder, number 10 role, Mount right behind him. So one thing that I have clearly observed on social is stat mongering and people calling Mount really bad, and uh, I disagree. I thought Mount was better than Bruno in every way. Bruno was lazy, his passing was awful, he showed no heart in the Wolves game. He was getting constantly exploited by the Wolves defense, and then in transitions as well, Cunha was running past him like he wasn't there. Mount, on the other hand, chased him. Mount was great defensively. He was not great. I mean, he was showing heart. He was showing passion. He was trying to dive into tackles, and he was really focusing on those uh on winning one on ones. Even though I don't know if he won one or two, he tried at least. And Anthony and Van Bissaka covering the right flank. Anthony right winger, Van Bissaka right back. So what makes this pair really fun to watch and really unique is the sheer doggedness. They would like run into tackles, they'll track back, they'll move forward, very like in a tandem, and that like fills my heart with a lot of positivity because we have like two players who understand each other very well. Whenever Van Bissaka has been passing well, we've seen that Anthony has been involved somehow in the team, and their chemistry is certainly amazing, in my opinion. Van Bissaka was the best passer in our team, and that is a really like hard to imagine thing 1 year ago. And Van Bissaka really has improved his passing. He's not. I'd say his passing is now up to a 5 or a 6 out of 10, and we want all our players' passings to be at least 9.5 or 10. But before Ten Hag, I think Van Bissaka's passing was a 1 or a 2 out of 10. He was shambolic. He was amazing defensively, but moving forward, he was absolutely garbage. So Cassie in midfield, Van Bissaka right back, Varane operating as the deepest player, and then Licha and Shaw. Shaw obviously playing those that commanding left back role. He would drive forward. Licha also the forward most centre back. The one to dive into tackles first, the one to take on the wrath of the Spurs front line head on. And yeah, that is like the starting 11. Obviously, Onana at the back. So a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. So United did this very proactive counter-attacking, counter-pressing, not counter-attacking, counter-pressing esque football. And why that didn't work out is because a lot of our players have this like microchip embedded in our systems that have like the programs running from the Oli and Ragnick era days. And United have really never not played a lot of proactive football in a very long time. And Ten Hag has changed that. Ten Hag has tried to build this proactive approach of counter pressing, trying to win the ball in high areas, trying to like target players with by like putting on numbers against that one or two against those one or two players and trying to win the ball as far as far up as possible, and that really affects like the game because there is a major pitfall with this kind of sheer aggression that you show is that you can be turned very easily and you can be counter-attacked very easily, and players like Mateus Cunha and players like James Madison will be very scary for us because they have that agility in themselves to like cut past players and like create spaces for themselves. And I think Wolves would have won the game. Wolves should have won the game, and Onana's penalty was obviously Onana's penalty, but Onana was at the end of the day our best player. Onana and Wan-Bissaka, but Onana especially. Onana minus the penalty had a 9 on 10 game in my opinion. He was imperious. He did things that we have never seen De Gea do. He was confident on the ball. His passing was accurate, and I think Onana will be an amazing signing for us. I think moving forward, United look like a dangerous team once our fundamentals are established and once everybody is comfortable with playing the way Ten Hag wants them to play, I think Onana will shine on his own. And I think United were lucky, but I think if this was a Oli team or a Jose team or a Van Gaal team or a Moyes team or a Ranić team, we would have lost 2 or 3 nil. The sheer doggedness of our players saved us. Um, Also down to like refereeing decisions being obviously on our side, and then uh, our goalkeeper performing very well. But it's the entire package. It's 3 points, and I don't care. 3 points are all that matter. But obviously, we have to beat Spurs, and I think we'll beat Spurs. We'll beat them 2-0. But yeah, it'll be a difficult game. There'll be a lot of scary moments when Madison is running at our defense and we look clueless. But then again, like I think Rashford has to score. I think Mount will do a good job. I think Anthony will play well. Especially Rashford versus Emerson Royale is something that I'd want to see. Emerson is not quick. Rashford very fast. He'll run past Emerson and get one on one with the goalkeeper. I hope it happens. 7 or 8 times because Rashford needs 7 or 8 attempts nowadays to score like 1 or 2 goals. But that clinicalness will come, that ferocity will come with the days. And United have been traditional slow starters, so it's okay. I mean, yeah, it's fine. So that's the starting 11, in my opinion, against Spurs. Our first Big Six opponent, a traditional Big Six opponent. 2-0 for United, in my opinion. So let's look at some interesting things that I wanted you guys to see first of all. Uh, let's just start with the Spurs squad, players that I really fear. Okay, uh, so Human obviously very dangerous player. OIBA very stable. Davinson Sanchez, I don't think he'll start. James Madison is probably the player that I fear the most. We got exploited by Matthias Cunha, who's like a 6 on 10 or a 7 on 10 player, and James Madison, in my opinion, is a 9 or a 10 on 10 player. What a signing for Spurs! First of all, they finally have a player who can like put a show some hands towards like Christian Eriksen, and Christian Eriksen is on our side, but we don't have the young Christian Eriksen anymore. The Christian Eriksen of Spurs does not exist anymore, and James Madison could even like outplay Christian Eriksen even, to be fair. Right, Eric Dyer, Ivan Perisic again, class player in my opinion. Giovanni Lo Celso, great player. So these are the players that really scare me. Ndombele, he was great, but he's not anymore. Bentancur, Bentancur is the player that we need in my opinion right now. He can play in those. He can play as a central defensive midfielder as well as a midfielder who can like fit in between the attacking midfielding positions and the defensive midfielding positions, and that's what like makes Rodrigo Bentancur so good. Yeah, and Mickey Van der Ven, good player. These are like really good players. Certainly better than a lot of our bench. Obviously, Kulusevski, great player of the right. Obviously, so Anthony, but yeah, we'll see. Richarlison, no comments towards Richarlison. When I see Richarlison, uh, I'll say stuff about Richarlison when he starts scoring regularly, and he hasn't so far, and that's what makes him irrelevant in my opinion. But yeah, James Madison again, amazing player. So the interesting thing that that I wanted to show everybody is Marcus Rashford's heat map. So if you look at his central positions, a lot of the play people have actually said that he operates better from the left, and that's what my eyes led to believe as well. But if you look at Rashford's season heat map, it paints a very different picture. If you look at these bright yellow spots, they operate more around the central region, and that is why Rashford has been clinical. And if you look at games towards the end of the season, when like Martial got injured and Rashford had to play a lot of games, I'm talking about the games around the Barcelona game when we played. Actually, Wout Weghorst was playing in the number 10 role and Rashford was operating centrally. You would start on the left, and towards the uh, end of the game, he would operate uh, centrally and he would score goals around that time. And Rashford is really clinical that way. But what I reckon is Rashford cannot like sustainably do that for 90 minutes. I think Rashford should start on the left and slowly move himself centrally, and then maybe put in those like vicious touches, vicious finishes towards the end of the game, right? Because towards the starting of the game, he would rather like take on players from the left. He would wear the defenders down. He would go on these like one-on-one endeavors, try to dribble past players, try to cut in, try to score. So those kind of goals have been realistic um, in like United players' hearts because Rashford has done that in the past. And maybe then, if we need a goal, if we need like a second goal, Rashford can come in at the center and Sancho can like take the left wing on his own, and maybe Garnacho comes into the second half and takes the left wing to himself, because I think Emerson Royal is slightly less physical, right? Emerson Royal is slightly less physical than the Wolves um, wing backs, and yeah, I think Garnacho will definitely have a better game when compared to the game against Wolves. The other thing that I'd want to showcase is Mount's heat map. Now, Mount is operated traditionally as this left-sided or a right-sided attacking midfielder. He operates this like central defensive position very, very narrowly. Operates in this central defensive midfield position very, very narrowly, and this is where I think like Mount really has to um, try to understand 10x principles better, because Mount will obviously have to play deeper around this or this region. Try to like support Casemiro as well as support like the attack. There's a lot of like up and down Mount has to do in that number 7 jersey of his. And no matter how many people say 007, Mount is inconsistent, I'd still back Mount because I think his quality. He's a great player. I think he has work rate second to none in this league, and I think like Mount um, will really make us proud towards the end of the season. And yeah, I mean, those are all the things that I wanted to discuss. Again, like a big, big showcase of gratitude from my end for the 177 views on the third shirt video. Absolutely amazing. I hope we get that kind of engagement moving forward, but it's very hard to predict that. I mean, quality comes once in a while, but for now, we'll try quantity. And with that, uh, it's a sayonara from my end. Bye bye.